Classic WoW is saved. The foundational systems that make the game function at its core are stupid and they need to go away. Well, actually, today I'm gonna show you how you can get WoW players to agree with pretty much anything as long as you make it sound a little fancy and smart. Because this post got 964 upvotes in a day, and everybody's gonna agree with it until the next post says that we need more raids, and they are gonna agree with that guy too, because that's how it works. So let's go pick at the brains of the people in Reddit, because that's actually what decides what happens to seasonal discovery apparently. I for one welcome our new karma farming masters. What made vanilla so popular in 2004? It wasn't the raiding, only a tiny fraction of players ever went into the raids, and even fewer actually got to nax. The game was popular because of the massive, mysterious world. It already sounds like one of those fart-smelling video essays you see Daima dozen on YouTube. The seemingly endless quests. Even though there was not even enough quests to hit level 60 without grinding mobs. The PvP, the faction uniqueness and identity, and the social environment. I think for Classic Plus to be a success, it needs to move away from PvE raiding as the primary activity at endgame, and even more away from endgame as the goal, and focus on what really made the game so popular and what it makes us so nostalgic for us today. Now, this is one thing that I keep reading everywhere and I wanna really debunk it, because even back in 2005 it was a myth. The 1% myth, as Jeff Kaplan called it back in the BlizzCon of 2005, where people were saying that only 1% of the player base raids, and Jeff Kaplan pulled up numbers, and even back then, well over 50,000 people at any given night were doing some raid. That's like saying that somewhere along the lines of 1.5 million people raid a week. It was never the 1%, it was never the exception. Not then, not now. And I would say, yes, fine, it is true that the mysterious world and the challenges that you will face later on kept you playing even if you didn't raid. Let me tell you something. Do you think though the world would have seemed as mysterious, as exciting if you didn't see other people doing raids or hearing about them and thinking, well, that could be me? That was the whole point. I am not saying that there shouldn't be raids, of course, but that Blizzard should focus on other content during the leveling experience at the end game. I am hoping for that game that people can play daily at 60 even if they never want to step into the raid. Here are a few of my initial thoughts. Let's take a look at how Reddit fixes WoW. Expanded professions with some challenging, difficult to create recipes that take you across the world to farm unique mats. How are you gonna make it? Is it gonna be the 0.5 quest line that nobody wants to do? Is it gonna be a super expensive sword so people are gonna buy gold for it? Because you're gonna say, okay, we're gonna make all the materials BOP so people do not have to actually buy them with gold, because you know what's gonna happen if they make it buy you with gold. People are gonna farm the gold and buy it, so it's pointless, or they're gonna swipe. If they make it BOP, do you gotta actually level up mining and then leatherworking and then whatever? Like, how are you gonna deal with people that only have like blacksmithing and do not actually have the other professions to gather the items because they are BOP? And also, it's not like they never tried this out. Thunder Fury is one of those weapons, I would say. I don't see how that would push you away from raiding though. Expanded world PvP events, because Seasonal Discovery has proven that it works so good, doesn't it? More seasonal or timed events to foster RP and social interactions. Okay, this is where you get to the point where like you know exactly what this guy is doing. You know exactly what this guy is doing. This is peak karma farming right here. You know how you make something so freaking vague that you cannot even tell what is going on, so people in the comments start projecting what they think it is. Like, oh, it's gonna be like a super mega boss. Oh, it's gonna be like a new RP thing where you talk to the King of Stormwind. An event like what? Because he knows damn well that if he told you like an actual idea, like an actual explanation of what he wants, people would start crapping on it, people would get mad, a lot of people would disagree. But if you just say more seasonal or timed events to foster RP and social interactions, this is straight up a company PR statement. This sounds something Blizzard would say after they got sued for touching women. More world bosses. Because I can't believe that SoD made this instance. The audacity to let people see the world bosses instead of having a single guild in the server kill them all. This really goes to show like the demagoguery that we gotta listen to every day. I gotta listen to this in my comments every day. You go from, okay, only 1% of the people raid, only like a small fraction of the people raid, and then you go like, okay, let's make sure that only a single guild in a server can kill world bosses. Which one is it? Added 5-man content. I mean, fine. I like more dungeons. Nobody's gonna argue with that, but once again, just saying that Blizzard should make more stuff is not an actual point. Revamping AB so it's actually fun again. No mention of how to revamp it, no mention of what to change, no mention of what is making it not fun, just so it's actually fun again. Who's gonna figure it out? It's not gonna be me. More hyper rare mounts to farm, like Baron's Death Charger or the Frost Saber, because retail. We have seen with SoD that a focus on PvE balance and raid logging has led to a community that basically just logs in once a week, does the raid, and logs off. That is not what made vanilla such a great game. Anyways, let's hear your thoughts. Comment baiting right there. By the way, leave a comment on this video. And the reason that I looked at this post, even though I never make a Reddit video and I had to make a Reddit video, is because it just gets me sometimes. It's not that this guy is farming karma. This is a perfectly orchestrated way of baiting for karma points right here. Apparently people care about karma in Reddit. What gets me is how many of you people just fall for it. My only hope is because these people exist, this happens, is that a lot of people came just to comment and didn't actually read the post. But this is a problem, and this is why Blizzard has such a hard time actually telling what people want. Because even when people pretend to tell you what they want, they just say these things that do not mean anything, that do not have an actual solid explanation of what they want to do. I am not saying that every actual idea with actual detail that people come up with is good, but at least that's something you can think about. Who is gonna argue with make it fun again? Yes, Fatbacker, they should make it fun again. Can you tell us how though? 1,000 upvotes though. Okay, the one actual point that he described, this is explaining exactly what I mean. Do not instance world bosses. That's basically what he said, right? The one point that actually has an actual explanation of what he wants, they instantly start making fun for it and 100 people agree. That's just how it works, right? There is a reason they make it the point so vague and meaning nothing. Well, I guess this is the best comment out of all of them all. Most of what you're describing is just current retail WoW. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This happened before, okay? They have listened to Reddit before. This is what it took us, okay? Only a tiny amount of people raid, even though 50,000 people a day were raiding back in 2005 alone. We need rare mounts. Until mounts were the only actual thing that you could farm for that mattered. Gear was only a measure of how much time you spent playing the game instead of your achievement actually killing the raid. I came here looking for people eating it up and they did not. You know, like all the comments are mostly like that. There is very few people that actually agree with him. People are just making fun of him. Like not the World PvP event Fiesta, because this guy probably seen a world event at some point in SoD and they are not very fun, let me tell you what. Hilarious take, only a fraction of the people raid. Oh my god, this guy, okay, this guy is a G. What's your name? Sikla, you are a G. The guy is linking to the video of Jeff Kaplan showing that how many people raid. I am not gonna watch the whole video. That could be an interesting find for another day if you're interested in it. Like the main takeaways from the entire BlizzCon, because there is a lot more than just Jeff Kaplan. But in a nutshell, they asked him, why do you make content for the 1% that raid when most people do not raid? And this is basically the numbers he pulled up, and I like numbers.
Our server programmers, Joe Rumsey and Brian Gibson Winge, provided me with some statistics. They're able to log everything. So every night at prime time in the US, there are 500 molten cores with 15
US alone, no EU, and even back then EU was bigger than US by the time 2005, the end of 2005 came in. So this is half the player base or less.
150 Onyxias with 2,500 players, 250 Blackwing Lairs, that's 6,000 players, and 700 Zul'Gurub instances with 10,000 players.
Now if we take a calculator really quick, that's 56,000 people concurrently, not across the lockout. In that very moment, there is 56,000 people raiding only in the US. which once again is only half of the players at the time because you also had a European server. I do not think WoW came out in China back then yet. If you had 5 million subscribers and at one given hour of one day there was over 100,000 people raiding, is it really the 1%? As a matter of fact, 1% of the subscribers in the entire world was raiding at 1 hour alone in the US alone. So no, it was never a small minority of people that raided. It was a small minority of people that did nags. And I will always be a defender of do not make the raid too hard, because if it is too hard, people are not gonna try. I have been saying it for a long time. But people were still doing Molten Core and Blackwing Lair and Sol Gorov. They were still doing those when Nax came out. It's not like people gave up on raiding just because Nax Ramas was hard. Pretending that raiding didn't exist in vanilla because one tier failed is a level of historical revisionism that makes me not wonder one bit why people were eating up all the punk rat top 10 videos back in the day. This is what you get, people. I'm sorry. So yeah, I think the takeaway from today is do not be one of those people. As a matter of fact, do not be one of these guys in life. It happens everywhere. What's a problem in society? Well, unemployment. Well, what should the president do? How do you fix it? Well, I think more jobs. I think we need more jobs. Well, thank you, brother. You fixed it. We should crown you the king of the world. How would you fix Alterac Valley? Making it more fun. And the reason I am being sarcastic and hyperbolic and getting pissed off is because I know the team of SoD actually comes to this subreddit and they are like, we got feedback. And this is the people that dictate whatever stupid thing they gotta make up for the next phase. Stop feeding into this. You are better than this. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.